Welcome back to another episode of When It Matters. I have an amazing guest with me today who I wanted to have on the pod for ages. We finally made it happen. Quite hard to pin her down because she is very, very busy. A best-selling author. She's got an incredible podcast. She's recently built a community and she's a multi-award winning practice owner. I am, of course, here with Stephanie Marshall. Welcome to When It Matters. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we've got so much to cover. I want to talk about the community, the pod. We were just talking about the fact that you're coming out with personalized vodka for your accounting practice. There's a lot we want to get through. Let's start with the backstory. How did you get to where you are now? You've obviously built this incredible career for yourself across so many different areas. Give us the the backstory and how it all came to be.
Yeah, so for me, it's quite different. So I left school at 16, adamant I was going to be a chef in a restaurant.
Love this.
Lasted about 3 months. I was like, yeah, no, this is not fun. I prefer to eat it than make it. And I'm quite structured and regimented. And I think in the catering industry, it's very much firefighting all the time. There is processes and procedures and things, but rarely ever goes to plan. Whereas I always loved business. I think in hindsight, I didn't want to be a chef in a restaurant. I wanted to own restaurants, like entrepreneur. That was me through and through. So I went back to college and did a business and administration apprenticeship and then did bookkeeping and accountancy, and numbers are just my thing. And it's not just the numbers, it's the data and it's the helping people that I really, really enjoy. So I had quite a few employed roles as bookkeepers, accounts assistants, accounts managers, that sort of thing. And I'm a huge petrol head. So I got into motorsport. Don't ask me how. Opportunities come to me and I don't know how it happens in my life, but I was a bookkeeper and accountant for a British touring car racing team, and that really gave me my insight into flexibility and freedom. And I was traveling all over the country and I was getting opportunities all over the world to go racing. I used to help out on the race weekends too. I love motorsport, so it made sense for me to go to the races. So I'd be in the office Monday to Thursday, pack up and then ship out. And I ended up grid girling, doing hospitality, looking after sponsors, building those relationships, which in later life came to be very, very helpful. But that's where it all kind of came from.
Interesting. And I guess I remember when I was looking through your LinkedIn before we actually first met, I know you have this strapline being like professionally unprofessional or something, kind of breaking down this sometimes quite like dusty kind of accounting and bookkeeping world. So when you went to go and build your own practice, did you know from day one what you wanted it to be, or how did that kind of start?
No, definitely not. So I was employed by a company and I looked after the finances for the health and leisure suites in the apartments in London. So like One Night in the Strand was the flagship site, so it was very high end.
Lovely.
Sort of things. It was incredible. Like it was amazing. But COVID hit. And I think for so many people that were employed, I had 2 children at home with learning difficulties who I had to homeschool. The boss wanted me in the office and it just wasn't viable. So going out on my own, I was kind of pushed into it.
Interesting.
But it's the best thing I ever did.
Oh my gosh. And I guess, because you're accounting and bookkeeping, ABS UK, but then also you have this amazing like holistic kind of advisory piece as well, business development, marketing. You can help on so many different fronts, going far beyond the traditional accounting firm. Again, how did this kind of evolve, right, from kind of just bookkeeping and accounting to this kind of full 360 service advisory?
But it didn't evolve. It was always that way. Because, from day one, because my first bulk of clients were sponsors that I'd worked with at the race team. They knew me, they liked me, they trusted me. I had a bigger network than I realised I had. And quite quickly all the sponsors were like, yeah, no, you can do our books, not a problem. So being in that world and knowing them and knowing their families and their kids and their dogs, it made sense that I would help them no matter what I do. My business now obviously has the 4 arms. We have this big ecosystem, but it didn't start that way. But my main mission is the same throughout whatever I do, and that is to help people. And whether clients were being charged a small fee or a large fee, I would do whatever I could to help them get to where they want to be. I've got elderly clients who aren't very technologically advanced. I love technology. I'm such an early adopter with this sort of stuff. I would build web shops and sales funnels and email marketing for them and then train their staff to do it too. And I wasn't charging for it at first, and that was the problem, because I wasn't showing my own value and my own worth as a business owner. So I went and got qualified in business development as well. So I am a business improvement specialist as well as the bookkeeping and accountancy qualifications. And when clients come to us, we have a very small number of clients, but we're very high fee and we do everything. We take everything off their hands, whether it's HR, payroll, sales, marketing, whatever it may be in the business that they need help with to get to where they want to be. ABCS UK will help them get there.
I think that's so interesting and so, so cool. And I guess when you're looking to kind of work with these clients, as we talked about before, I think when we first met as well, you're very selective with who you work with. You've got a long waiting list. What does the ideal working relationship look like, and what's that kind of dynamic, the ideal dynamic, right, that allows you to go out and, you know, do what you do and also benefit them? Like, what does that ideal dynamic look like?
Yeah, so for me, I don't have a niche. Everyone tells you to niche down and specialize in an industry. I work with people. I am a people person. If we click as people, I will help you, and that is it. Like, there's no other criteria to me. I don't care what software you're using. I don't care how far away you are. I don't care what country you live in. If you are a person I get along with and you respect me as a business owner and as a person, and are not 7-8 o'clock on a Sunday night WhatsApping me for information, they know my working hours. They know that my practice is very non-traditional. We close in August, so I have 2 children, school holidays. I was building a business that worked around me and my family's needs, and it's always been that way. But I think, yeah, I'm not selective in the slightest in industry or niche or business size or business turnover. It's the person. I'm a person first person in everything that we do in business.
I love that. And I guess in terms of where you've taken the business, you have this incredible podcast, 3Bs, which I love. And actually, I was listening to your episode from solopreneur to CEO, which I loved. We talk a lot about the kind of the rise of the solopreneur here. And also something that really struck me is when you said, if you don't pay yourself, it's just a hobby, it's not a job. And actually talking about kind of business owners, how they often don't pay themselves, something we've spoken about a lot before. With the podcast, so when did that begin? And was that a response to not being able to, you know, have the bandwidth to take any more people on, and therefore, or like take any more clients on, and that was your way of like helping to spread your kind of knowledge? Or how did that come about?
Yeah, almost. So the 3Bs podcast started, we're in the middle of season 3 now, so it would have been April 2022, April 2023. I had the idea about a year before, but it was just understanding the technology. There wasn't many in our industry. Like, there's still not many podcasts in our industry, so there was nobody else for me to learn from. And I'm very much, if our industry doesn't do it yet, but other industries do, I'm going to go and figure out how they do it so we can bring it into our industry. The podcast, 15 minutes, short, sharp episodes. I think it's really important. 15 minutes is a school run. It's a dog walk. It's a commute. Something that business owners can actually implement straight away. Small, sharp, easy to understand. A lot of accountants will go, I don't use jargon, no jargon. I'm the complete opposite. I will use all the jargon, but I will explain it so that next time you hear it on the news or in a headline, you actually understand it. I feel like it's pointless just
pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah, or ignoring it, or because they're not learning anything from it. I'm the first CPD certified podcast in our industry as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was really important to me that, because a lot of bookkeepers actually started listening to it, and I was like, oh, this was meant for business owners. But because bookkeepers were listening to it, I was like, well, we need to have professional development. CPD is mandatory. I'm an ICB member. We have to have 30 hours a year, 30 points a year, which is equivalent of 30 hours. I was like, okay, so they can listen to my podcast every Thursday or whenever they have time.
And it contributes.
And they get 13 hours a year of their CPD done in 15-minute chunks. They've not got to set aside hours for webinars. They've not got to find days and days or pay for courses to get their CPD, and they can learn enough from the podcast and they can pick it up in bite-sized chunks. But it made me started because a lot of businesses can't afford my services at ABCS UK because it's such a high price point. It's such a premium. A lot of startups, a lot of smaller businesses don't have that level of financial investment. So the idea behind it was that they listen to the podcast, they implement the information in the podcast until they build their businesses to a size where we can then help them.
And that's a way of giving back, right, to that kind of community. And I guess what's the kind of, because there's so much wisdom. When I was like, I need to listen to this every day. Like, I don't even have my own business, but there's so much good stuff there. What is your kind of, I guess, your number one takeaway for a kind of small business when they're kind of starting out? Like, do you have like a kind of North Star goal? You're like, you need to think about this all the time.
Ask for help is my number one. Like, I spent 2 years going, I will figure this out alone. I will do it myself. I'll watch the YouTube tutorials. I'll do it all myself. It's not like that. The minute I started asking for help, doors started opening for me. And people want you to succeed. We are very, very lucky in this industry as bookkeepers and accountants that it's a very collaboration over competition. So other practice owners I work for other practice owners and vice versa. We all want you to succeed. We all want everybody else to succeed, and we will help you to do that. And most business owners will give you little nuggets of advice. If you ask them a question, they're likely to help you.
I love that. And I mean, we've spoken before about how you've had so many amazing opportunities in your role as a business owner. What's been some of the most kind of rewarding ones where you look back and go, oh my God, that also you've had so much incredible merch. This is the other thing. When I first met you, you had the most incredible merch collection. So tell us a little bit about, the opportunities that you've been given, in this space.
Yeah, I think I've had so much different opportunities, and I honestly could not. If you told me 4 years ago I'd be sat on this sofa now, like I wouldn't have believed you at all. I wouldn't have believed that I had my own podcast. Just wouldn't have believed it, because I'm naturally introverted. I have anxiety. I struggle in places with lots of people. Yeah, I stood on stage at Accountex London this year and spoke in front of 100 people or so in the room. I like to be living proof that whatever challenges you have, they're always easy to overcome. Not necessarily easy, but they're always overcomeable, for not a better word. No matter what it is, there is a reason. And I like to be that role model in, well, I can do it, so can you.
Oh, I love that. Where does that come from? Have you always been like that? Do you know what I mean? Or
I'm stubborn. I'm a northerner. I'm from Scunthorpe. I'm from a small town. Most people are born in Scunthorpe, live in Scunthorpe, marry someone they went to school with, and that is the highlight of their life. I got out at 18 and came down to Kent and never looked back.
Yeah.
And I've always been driven. I've always been determined. I work better off. No, you don't. So my fiance, Steve, will say to me, I bet you can't do that. And I'm like, watch me. Whether it's putting the washing away, whether it's decorating a wall, if he tells me I can't do it, I'm doing it. So I guess it's just that drive and that ambition. And my main goal is to help people. And I will take on all the opportunities possible. As an ICB member, I get lots of opportunities for webinars and podcasts and things like that. But also with software providers, because I love tech and I built my own CRM because I didn't like any on the market when I started my practice, I have that insight of usability experience. So I'm on the technology advisory board with the ICB now, and I've helped lots of software improve and change to be end user friendly or more end user friendly, which makes them a better product.
Yeah.
If I can help, I will help. But the latest one is the vodka.
Yeah, the vodka. So iconic.
The conversations and the rooms I end up in with the people I talk to honestly blow my mind. And I think, from a conversation of, I helped out with a Small Business Britain event, and they sent me a bar of chocolate to thank me. And it was from a supplier called Stork Valley Gifts, and I messaged them and I was like, how can you do this for me? Like, I'd like this for me. How easy is it? What's the minimum order quantity? We all know with merch that a lot of things is such a huge minimum order quantity, and I don't want 150 of them. So went up for a tasting, and they were like, oh, just so you know, we've started doing these spirits and these vodkas. And I was like, okay, so how does this work then? Do you just like shove a label? And she's like, no, they'll brew it specifically for you. Fast forward, we've now got the first iteration of ABCS UK vodka coming.
So cool. Are we going to be able to buy this online somewhere, or do we have to
it'll
be
be
customer?
Gifted. Yeah.
Damn it.
I'll put your name on one, don't worry.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And I guess to kind of go back to the podcast and this introversion piece, which I think is so interesting because, you don't come across as introverted, to me. And I'm the same. So I'm also so introverted. And you can stand on stages and like give talks. You host I think hosting a podcast is really intimidating, even if you're not introverted. How was that experience for you? Like becoming this kind of having this media presence, right? For somebody who's naturally perhaps not inclined that way. What was that kind of journey like?
So the podcast started audio only, which I think really helped. So it wasn't video only. I could sit at home in pajamas with my microphone and just record. We got to about episode 85, I think, before I started going video as well. But it's those baby steps, I think, and you've just got to do the thing. I'm very much a believer of feel the fear and do it anyway. Because afterwards, I think that high you get after you've done it, after you've come off stage, you'll see me shaking before I go on stage, and I'll come off and I'll be like, feeling like top of the world. I'm like, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. But I always put emphasis on other people. So when I did the talk at Accountex, it was about the 4 different types of introversion. And depending which type of introvert you are, use that to your strength as a business owner, as a bookkeeper, whether you're an industry or a practice owner. And I think that's really important. So for me, I'm always the audience. The podcast is for business owners who are going to get things from it. You've said yourself, you're taking things from it. And that's all I want. I'm helping you. Even if I'm not in the room, I'm helping you, and talking on stage was to help those bookkeepers who feel the way I feel when it comes to putting yourself out there. especially when you're a solo practice owner, because you've got to go out there to get the clients, to talk to the new clients, to bring them in. And that can be really scary if you're introverted.
Yeah, that's so true. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think an accountant practice owner, as we talked about, you're there to kind of help people, and so often you guys are such sounding boards, right? Like you hear everything. You know, you hear when the times are bad. Like you're the first person to know, really, after the owner of the business themselves. So I think I can imagine being an introvert is very powerful for this particular profession. Have you found that? And is that, because obviously we'll talk about your community as well that you started. Is that, have you found that to be a huge strength?
Yeah, I mean, I've got 2 now clients right now that are pregnant and their partners don't know yet.
No, stop.
Yeah,
And you
genuinely. Yeah. They'll come to me and be like, what does this mean for the business? Like, I want all the facts and figures and data before I tell them.
No.
So that level of trust is incredible.
Crazy,
I mean,
yeah.
financial data is one thing, but to be trusted with that information and to hold that secret for them until they're ready is incredibly fulfilling and rewarding. Like, it's amazing that they trust me to that extent that they're like, okay, so this has happened. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. So what does this mean for the business? What does this look like? Like, let's make a plan, because everything I do is such an advisory role anyway with clients that making a plan, as soon as there's a bump in the road, they want to look at what that's going to do for the direction of the business and how can we navigate any challenges that are going to come up. So, yeah, I think it's natural, but as an introvert, most bookkeepers are introverts anyway. We are well known for being that person that sits in the corner, entering data, collecting receipts. We're not really forefront like a sales or a marketing employee person in a business would be. And there's practice owners that start out on their own. We're wearing all the hats. Some of those hats don't fit very well and they're not very comfortable. So making sure that they're empowered enough to do that is part of what I do.
And with the community, so this is your latest venture, and you set this up, what, a month and a half ago?
August it came out.
August. Yeah. So again, were you speaking to other bookkeepers and feeling like there wasn't really potentially a place in the industry for the introverted bookkeeper? Is that what kind of inspired you to begin this community?
There's no space in the industry right now at all for bookkeepers starting out. Not really. Not unless you want to invest 4 figures plus in a course. As bookkeepers, we are taught all the technical skills when we pass all our exams. We're not taught to run businesses. We're not taught those vital business skills, the sales, the marketing. Technically, we're incredible. And that's where a lot of bookkeepers struggle when they go out on their own, is that they just can't find clients because they don't know how to do that business side. The mildly social community is made for introverts. I did my talk on stage at Accountex this year, and people were queuing up to take selfies with me afterwards and ask me questions. And that is incredibly overwhelming for me. Like, it's wonderful, but part of me is like, oh, there's lots of people here. Me, little old me, why me? And people just need a space, a low cost, a low financial investment space where they have access to me, because I also do like power hours and strategy calls for business owners anyway, sort of the next step if they can't afford the full service for the bookkeeping accountancy as well. But again, that's still an investment that most business owners don't have. And we have twice monthly live calls. We have anonymous question boxes. I look at all the fears that people have and I take them away. I make it as easy as possible. So having an anonymous question box means that people can put their questions in there. It will get answered on the live call. Nobody knows who asked it. So it's not a stupid question. They don't have to feel stupid, and just make it approachable and friendly.
Honestly, I think it's so powerful, because also I think about like kids today, when people are thinking of setting up a business, if you are naturally introverted, I mean, I was so introverted at school, I would never think I could set up a startup or anything like that. That's definitely not within my remit, whatever. So to have this kind of message that no, you absolutely can, you can just, and actually it can be such a strength in doing so, I think is so amazing. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, obviously, you know, you're on a lot of panels, you go to a lot of events, which again is kind of against the kind of your introverted nature. I remember you talked about giving yourself space either side. Tell me a little bit about that and how you kind of adapt to being kind of pulled in all these different directions and asked to do loads of things when you're naturally introverted. Yeah,
I think it's really important to know your introvert type. So if you haven't yet, there is a free quiz you can take that will tell you which of the 4 introvert types you are. I am an anxious introvert, so obviously the anxiety is the bit. And once everyone goes home, I'll get into bed and my brain will be like, oh, what did I say that wrong? Did I say that right? Do you think that person was mad at me? Like, all those things will go on in my brain long after the actual social side of things have been and gone. So for me, I know that energetically, big live events take a lot out of me. So I always clear the next day in my diary. I don't fully take it off per se, because as a business owner, you never take time off. but I do emails, or I do things that don't require me to be so on, no client facing things, make sure that everything that can be done from home if I'm too tired to go into the office. And giving yourself that grace and that compassion of, you've done a big thing, that's a lot for you. That's no different than somebody that's not introverted going and do something that's big and scary. They're going to need that time to decompress. I also find with events, you always leave with a million ideas or the inspiration, and you need time to decompress that and look at, okay, away from the excitement and the lights and the flashy merch, which of these things is actually going to help me in my business? Which ones of these things do I actually need a call with? Who do I need to look at implementing these procedures, software, whatever it may be?
I love that. So giving yourself time to decompress and actually process all the incredible ideas. I think that's such a really good piece of advice. And I guess also something, I remember when I first met you, I had this question within 5 minutes of talking to you, is like, how do you do all of this? Like, how do you balance it all? You're also a mum of 2. And we also haven't even talked about your book yet, which we will in a second. Like, how, my question is, how? What's your secret? How do you balance it all? And is there anything that's got to give as well?
I don't have a secret. I just do it. It's one of the questions I get more than anything else is, how do you fit it all in? How do you do it all? You're Superwoman. It's like, I have the same 24 hours as everybody else. My practice is only 9:30 till 2:30 term time only. Everything else is done around that. Something recently I've started implementing, because again, with children, things change all the time. And adapting, I often find when I have clients in and we do strategy things, and I'm like, okay, so where do you want this business to be in 5 years' time? And they often think about it in the phase of life they're in right there. Whereas if your kids are 5 now, in 5 years' time, your kids are going to be 10. There's a whole different ball game then. It's a whole, they don't need you as much. They're allowed a little bit more independence. You're probably more likely to be taxied than you are literally holding their hand everywhere. And that sort of thing needs to be thought about when you're planning ahead. So for me, my children are 13 and a half and nearly 11 now. They're starting to get that more independence. I've got one in secondary school, one almost in secondary school. This business wouldn't be able to run the way it does at the capacity and velocity that it does if they were still young, if they were still toddlers. And it's giving yourself that grace as a business owner, if you're a mum, dad, carer, whatever it may be. Because you look at people and you're like, how do you do all of that? And it's like, no. Because they don't have the same life you do. They might have parents or that help with the childcare, or they might have brothers and sisters. I don't. I am 270 miles from my family. I don't have that support system. Everything is done between me and my fiance, and that is it. So comparing myself to someone like Stacey Solomon, who I adore.
Love Stacey Solomon, yeah.
But she has all this help, and she said it herself on stage. She has all this help. She has a village behind her. Don't compare yourself to somebody else who has a very different setup to you.
I think that's, such a powerful message. And it's funny because I think most people would look at you and be like, oh my goodness, I can't possibly do what she does. You make it look very easy, basically. I mean, every time whenever I'm on your LinkedIn, you're always doing something new, something cool. I mean, does it ever feel too much or too hard? Or is that not really in your vocabulary? Yeah.
No, I don't do hard. No, I think it's really important to obviously space your diary out accordingly. I had a call just before I came in here from a software provider, and they were like, oh, can you arrange a call this week? I was like, no, you're looking at December before you. Like, my diary is packed out until December.
Yeah.
And I purposefully have, so Friday afternoons from 12 o'clock, my diary is clear. And that's the best tip I can ever had, because what that diary being clear is to catch up on anything that you've missed throughout the week, anything that's slipped, anything that's got in the way, any opportunities that have come up. You know you've got that 2-3 hours to catch up, switch off. I mean, I'm often got my laptop out in an evening or a weekend. I don't have my children on a weekend. They go to their dad, so it makes sense for me to work on a weekend to catch up, whereas a lot of business owners who have children or are then in their parental role, they don't have those extra hours I do.
Yeah.
And it's just balance. It's just... Default diaries are a really good one. So a default diary is you put what you would like to do in an ideal week. Again, giving yourself lunch breaks is another one that I've had to learn to take because I don't. Lunch breaks, my Friday afternoons are always clear for the catch-up stuff. And you just laminate that and use a whiteboard marker and then cross it off as you go. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So my Monday job's today. What I can't do this morning, I'll do this evening, or I'll catch up tomorrow. And it's just giving yourself spaces in the diary, because I think we're very good at, even the AI tools are like, oh, we'll pack your diary and we'll organize it for you, but there's no gap, there's no break,
Yeah, there's no breathing room.
and the break's more
Yeah.
important than the ramming all the work in, because you're going to be more productive, you're going to give a better output if you've given yourself that grace to go for a walk, to have some lunch, to catch up.
And you really strike me as someone who obviously works very hard, but also works very smart. So tell me, we touched a little bit on how you built your own CRM, you use a lot of AI. Tell me about your tech stack and your kind of approach to AI.
My tech stack is very different to everybody else's, because
I'm not surprised.
I am the queen of an early adopter. I like new things. I have very magpie syndrome. I love something new and shiny, specifically if it solves a problem. I don't look at all the software just because it's out. If it's something that can solve a problem, which can make me work smarter, then great. My CRM is built using ClickUp as a base, so it's similar to Notion or Trello.
Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah.
You use the API or the... Oh my God, that's so clever.
Yeah, so that's all built in there. But I also have like client dashboards in there, so clients can access all the data. All the chats are kept together, so it's almost like a text conversation, so they can scroll back. They don't have to message me. Everything's in there. And then my day-to-day is in there as well. But then I've got calendars across home on all the different businesses, so that I can see holistically if I've got a school sports day or a nativity, because I know I'm not working that day because I'm not in the office. But that then links into Outlook, so all my emails are in there, so everything is in one place and triaged together. Automation is the key for me. Any job that happens more than once, I'm like, okay, so how can I make AI do this? How can I make the internet do this for me? How can I do this? So my payroll clients get an email on the 20th of every month, my monthly ones, saying, let me know if anything's changed. I'm processing your payroll in the next couple of days. At the end of every financial quarter, they get an email the following morning saying, okay, please upload your bank statements here. Make sure all your documents are here because we're going to do your bookkeeping. Same with VAT, same with annual accounts. Our AML is automated, so when the AML is due for renewal and the date comes up, it automatically sends them a copy of our data, asks them to sign off, like a data collection sheet you get in school. Again, I take a lot of information, I take a lot of my inspiration from, well, that's how they're doing it, so how can I bring this into my world?
Oh,
So the data collection is, when you've got children in school, every year they send home basically a printout of what data they have on the system to check that addresses and phone numbers and things are still the same. And I was like, I need this for my clients.
Oh, that's so
And
clever.
that's how I introduced that.
And taking inspiration from... That's so clever. And are you using AI agents yet?
Yes, I am. I'm also building some, but that's top secret for now.
Top secret stuff.
Yeah, I have anything that is repetitive, anything that I have to do more than once, the same, then I will find a way to implement them. I have an AI twin now. I have a Reddit scraper. I can now make video and content, and it is so lifelike, it's not even funny.
No, even AI twin.
Yeah.
Wait, tell me more about. Is she also called Stephanie?
Yeah, she's just me.
Oh my God.
The photos and videos you will see on social media, 90% of them aren't even me, but you would not know they're not me.
Oh my God. Am I currently doing a podcast with your AI twin?
I've not got there yet. We're working on it.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
And as things advance, and because I've been working with ChatGPT for 3.5 years, like I was one of the early adopters.
Yeah.
It knows me inside out. I don't have to think. So even things like today, I got a picture of the studio, and I put it into ChatGPT, and I was like, "Hey, this is where I'm going to record on Monday." It knows I've had my colour analysis done, so it knows what colours I am. It knows what I look like. I was like, please give me some outfit inspiration ideas. I was like, I want to wear these specific trainers, sent a picture of that. It gave me all the links on Amazon, and it literally styled me for today.
Wait, that's so cool. Oh my God. And I have to say,
Thank you.
I love the ensemble. I said that when you came in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Did it also pick the pink coat, which I
No,
adore?
the pink coat's mine, and I've had about 6 years, and it's my statement piece. And I would say it makes me feel more confident.
Yeah.
It's that thing when I put it on. I don't think I've ever not worn it without a compliment.
And
And in London, you don't often get compliments from people on the tube, but I always get a compliment in that coat.
oh my God.
Always.
I'm not surprised. I really want one. And actually, we had Emily Vass on the pod, who obviously you know, and she was wearing an amazing pink suit. And I was like, and I actually had one at home, and I was like, oh my God, I wish I'd worn mine. We might have to do a trio all in pink. Yeah.
We'll have to like text each other so we're not all wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
But ChatGPT and AI can be so much more than your business. It can help with your home life. We have things like we have a quarterly rolling menu in our house. because I take away as many decisions as possible, because decision fatigue is
So
awful.
real. Yeah.
And it's so real. And anything you can streamline, anything you can make nice and easy. So we have my son has celiac disease, so we have to have gluten-free for him. But obviously we don't eat gluten-free, so it's almost two different menus. But we have, like you would at school, we have a 4-week rolling menu, and every quarter that changes. And I don't have to think. Like my food shopping, I just press the button from the week before or the 4 weeks before, and everything's on there. All the
Yes.
ingredients are in there.
God. This is making making me think I want to go and redo my whole how I
Life.
run my whole
Yeah.
life. Yeah, I need to book an actual call with you. Yeah, to learn all about it. So interesting. And so I'm kind of aware of time. I want to talk about this for ages, but I'm kind of aware of time. So I would love to talk about your book, which for me, I thought it was so cool when I saw you come up with the book. It's Finance for Life, and it's a kind of early guide to finances and money for teens and adolescents, right?
Yeah.
Again, let's talk about how did you come up with that idea? I don't think there was anything else really on the market like it. How did that come to be?
90% of the things I do don't exist on the market. I create
Yeah.
them. My children, again, they're early teens, but they're so ahead of their friends when it comes to finances. And financial education is not taught in schools, and it really should be. And I've been to the House of Lords and the House of Commons multiple times and spoke to MPs, because I think it's so important to teach life skills. We're taught algebra and we're taught history and we're taught Henry VIII's wives, but we're not taught what a bank account is. We're not taught about debt, which, if we could remove irresponsible borrowing, the economy would be stronger and healthier. People wouldn't be struggling so much financially because they've got loans and credit cards they can't afford to pay back. And I've seen it. I've seen business owners come to me and they've got themselves in a hole, and their personal money is sort of funding the business because they've not got the procedures in place. And there's a time and a place for that, but I would never recommend putting personal money into a business to keep it afloat. Like that. There's too many red flags there for me. So I wanted to make it a real life guide. I didn't want it to be an education piece. I'm not a teacher by trade. And naturally I teach people I know, but I'm not qualified as a teacher. But I just wanted to give real world strategies in a way that 16 to 19-year-olds understand. So there's grocery shopping, there's budgeting, there's even like a fitness and nutrition chapter that my PT client wrote, and there's some recipes in there for high protein, low cost meals, if that's a goal that you have. Banking, but it's also not just entrepreneurial, it's understanding your payslip, how tax and national insurance works, rent versus mortgaging, pensions. Most business owners don't have a pension. Most teenagers won't be thinking about pensions.
Yeah.
But how much stronger would they be in a financial position if they just knew that was an option? My kids all have Monzo accounts. They have separate pots where they store money in for different things. There's like 1p savings challenge in there. So if you put 1p away and the next day 2p and the next day 3p, for a whole year, you'll have £667 in a savings account without any interest.
God.
That's Christmas paid for every year.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it.
Well, that's potentially like a holiday.
Or a holiday.
Paid for. My God, that's so clever. That makes me think I need to I need to read this. And I guess it's interesting, isn't it, that finances isn't taught in schools. I mean, do you think with the kind of AI wave for example, like algebra and stuff like that, a lot of maths is going to be taken away by AI or kind of affected by that. Do you see any progress in terms of finance getting
Unfortunately not. And the education system's archaic. It's the same system that we had 50, 60, 70 years ago. The only difference being is they don't teach home ec anymore, which actually running a house and washing and drying would be a useful skill to have.
Yeah.
But they've took that bit away. I'm still lobbying. I'm still trying. I know there's a few others in the industry that are also trying to get financial education in schools. I think it's really important. In the meantime, this book, off the back of the book, I was asked to go into some sixth forms and some schools and colleges and teach the strategies in the book. So we do 2 different themed workshops in ways they understand. So we do like a sports and Olympic themed one. So it it encourages the challenge in them, and they can win like football shirts and Amazon vouchers, and it gets them engaged when they don't realize that they're learning finance. And we do like a Taylor Swift influencer one, because again, understanding that concept, as an influencer you can make a lot of money. Yeah. But you can also get in a big hole, because if you get a gift with tax, if you get a gift, you're taxed on the value of that if you're given like a PR or something.
I actually, Emily and I talked about that on our podcast episode. I had no idea that was
Mm.
such a hole, and kids just don't know that. And I think I'm just kind of conscious of time, so I could talk about this for hours. But my last question is, I think you and Aaron and I, we're all going to talk about this in a bit more in a sec. Is the fact that you've taken this traditional profession, being an accountant and bookkeeper, you've got your own practice, and you've built this. I think you used the word ecosystem, which I think really encapsulates it so well. We're hearing that there are less people going into the accounting profession, and yet you make it seem so fun, and you have the most incredible time, and you've had so many amazing opportunities. What would be, I guess, your message to people potentially wanting to come to the accounting profession, or people who are in it already and are thinking, oh, like, I don't really know where to go, I don't know I'm really progressing. Yeah, what would you kind of say?
I think we're going to go full circle. Ask.
Really...
Ask. Come and message, DM people. Like, come and find us on LinkedIn. The things that I do and the incredible experiences that I have are not traditional, but it's the way things are going. And if people run businesses like I do, like Aaron does, like Emily does, our industry is only getting bigger and better. And AI won't take our jobs. AI will take away the menial, boring stuff that we don't want to do anyway. And it enables us to have a real impact on business owners. And that's really fulfilling.
Perfect. Such a great note to end on. Stephanie, thank you so much. I've loved this one. I wanted to have you on the pod for so long. I'm so glad we managed to do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.